They called him the funniest man alive, a face that could make anyone laugh, a man who could become anyone. But behind the laughter, behind the fame and the lights, was a man who didn't know who he was anymore. This is the story of Jim Carrey and the real price of being happy. Jim Carrey was born in 1962 in Ontario, Canada. He wasn't born into fame or comfort. He was born into chaos. His family was poor. His father, Percy, was a musician who lost his job when Jim was just a kid. They went from living in a small house to sleeping in a van. While most children dreamed of toys or cartoons, Jim dreamed of survival. He would stand in front of the mirror, twisting his face into shapes, trying to make his parents laugh, because laughter was the only thing that made them forget how bad things were. From that moment, Jim learned something that would define his life. If you could make people laugh, they wouldn't see your pain. By the time he was 15, he was performing stand-up comedy in local clubs. His classmates thought he was strange, but when he got on stage, he became unstoppable. Every movement, every word, every face, perfect, like a switch flipped inside him. He said, "I used to go to sleep imagining my audience laughing. That's how I survived." He wrote himself a check for $10 million, post-dated to 1995 for acting services rendered. He carried it in his wallet for years. It was a promise to himself. And just a few years later, that promise came true. Hollywood came calling. Jim Carrey exploded onto the screen. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, The Truman Show. He was electric. People didn't just watch him, they believed him. In the 1990s, he became the highest paid actor in the world. He was funny, fearless, and larger than life. But behind the scenes, the more characters he played, the less he recognized himself. He once said, "I thought I had to be special, to be somebody. But I didn't realize. I already was." When he wasn't acting, he felt empty. He had money, fame, fans, everything he thought would make him happy. And yet, he felt nothing. He described it like this: "I wished everyone could get rich and famous and have everything they ever dreamed of. So they'd know that that's not the answer." He started to question everything. Who was Jim Carrey when he wasn't being Jim Carrey? That question became an obsession. He dove deep into philosophy, spirituality, and art. He painted, meditated, isolated himself. He said, "I don't exist. Jim Carrey is a character I made up." In 1998, he starred in The Truman Show, a movie about a man whose entire life is secretly a TV show. Audiences thought it was fiction, but for Jim, it was prophecy. The world watched him laugh, cry, and fall apart, on screen and off. In Man on the Moon, he played the comedian Andy Kaufman so deeply that he became him. He refused to break character, even when cameras stopped rolling. He said, "Andy took over. I lost myself completely." That transformation broke something in him. He had achieved everything he ever wanted, but at the cost of his own identity. In the years that followed, tragedy struck. He lost people he loved. He fell into depression. He disappeared from Hollywood. When he finally returned, he was different, calmer, softer, philosophical. He started speaking not as a comedian, but as a man who had seen the other side of success. He said, "I believe depression is real, but I also believe that sadness is a call to action. It's the body saying, you're not living your truth." He began to paint, massive, colorful canvases full of emotion and pain. His studio became a sanctuary. Each brushstroke was a confession. He said, "I used to think I was painting to heal others. Now I realize I'm painting to heal myself." He no longer chased fame or money. He chased meaning. And slowly, he found peace. Today, Jim Carrey speaks about life like a philosopher. He talks about letting go of ego, fame, and illusion. He says, "You are not the image in the mirror. You are the light behind it." He believes we are all playing roles, wearing masks to survive, but that the real joy comes when we finally remove them. He laughs less now, but when he does, it's real. He once said, "The greatest currency there is the effect you have on others." So who is Jim Carrey? A comedian, a philosopher, a man who lost himself. Maybe he's all of them. Maybe that's what makes him human. He showed the world that even the happiest faces can hide the deepest pain, and that true happiness doesn't come from applause, or money, or fame, but from understanding who you are when all of that disappears. In the end, Jim Carrey didn't just make people laugh. He taught them something far more important, that behind every mask there's a person trying to find peace, and that maybe the price of being happy is learning that happiness was never out there. It was always within.